Hello there, everybody. How are you all doing today? It's time we continue. By we, I mean Megan and I, and I guess
Yes.
everybody else watching, to be fair. The adventure through E3. So we're going on to Nintendo, as I said during the beginning, and I think the end of the Microsoft press conference.
Yes.
Which should be pretty interesting. I'm not going to scroll down much more because I think they do generally say what's in it. So it should be a pretty interesting E3, I think. A pretty interesting press conference. And we're starting to see the motion controls come into play. I wonder if Nintendo maybe has some insight into what could be happening. We've already seen the Kinect.
Yeah.
I think the same year the Kinect was announced, I think the Move was also announced. So I wonder if Nintendo is going to kind of play into the whole, like, oh, we started, like, motion controls.
They probably will, yeah.
Because although we don't know about the Move yet, for all I know, maybe rumors were circling. I could imagine that. So, like, people probably knew about the Move, maybe. I don't quite remember if there was, like, a rumor of a Sony motion controller or not.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised either. Alright, so, uploaded by Cars Lock once again. I'm pretty sure he's the guy that we're just going to be going to all the time for any Nintendo press conference, which is cool. As always, link will be in the description for it. But Megan, are you ready? I should make sure I am, actually. I'm not. Alright. Nah, are you ready?
Yes.
Alright. Once again, gonna play with the audio, because some things are loud, some things are not. You know how it'd be. What?
Yeah, hopefully the audio is a little better than Microsoft, because it seemed like every mic they took out for different speakers was like a different volume.
Yeah, right? They're very interesting so far. Culture, culture, culture. Not punch out. Yeah, nice. Return to smidgen.
Slice up Poco Mystery Dungeon!
True, true. See, I assume these are stuff they showed, maybe not all of them last year. Would any of this be new?
Well...
Or not released yet?
I think that picture of Pokemon Mystery Dungeon would have been Explorers the Sky, which came out a little bit later, so they might even show it here later. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Because Explorers the Sky is basically like the third version of the DS Mystery Dungeon games.
Hey Megan, is your mic a bit farther from your mouth? You just sound a little quieter to me for some reason than even you were just a few minutes ago.
I mean, I did move it a little bit because my mic was going on. I thought I was breathing into it, so it's a little closer now. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay.
And welcome to everyone.
It's just very apparent when you're quieter, to me at least. Probably because I'm just around you so much.
And all of you watching online.
Well, yeah.
There is one thing that every one of us attending here in person has in common.
Uh-huh.
A professional connection to video games.
Jump a little bit more.
Whether we make them, sell them, report on them, or analyze the companies that do all of that, we know that how well we do individually is directly linked to how well our category is doing. So, how are we trending? Well, NPD says that last year, video games were just as big as home video. Just as big as toys.
They did say that, and we did look it up, and I believe that was true.
And movie box office put together. The reason is obvious. Once our industry defined our consumers in a limited way, focusing only on those people who were already actively involved as gamers. Now, it's different. Maybe you've noticed a woman on the plane playing the Nintendo DS system, or your uncle calling you for tips on how to beat his buddies in Mario Kart. Today, it's clear. Everyone's game. Now, certainly different companies are trying to build audience in different ways. At Nintendo, we've been working nonstop at what sounds like a pretty simple goal: create surprise. Now, once in a while, surprise breaks down the door in the form of absolute innovation, something so amazing that everyone instantly recognizes it. And sometimes it sort of creeps up on you, a grin or a shout buried in the middle of a level. Today, we will bring you both. Innovation in the form of the next leap forward in game control, and surprises in places where you thought there might not be any left. So let's kick off with that last point. If there's an icon for video games, it's probably the guy who's appeared in over 200 different titles and sold more than 200 million games globally. He's someone who seems like he's
I wonder if they're going to show off Galaxy 2.
I think it could be possible.
So I was like trying to think of like which Mario games would have come out around this time, and like I think Galaxy 2 would have been pretty close. I don't know if there would have been another 2D Mario because I'm not too familiar with them.
All right.
Mario in 3D.
I mean, Mario definitely very iconic,
Everyone
true.
remembers the first time leaping into one of the pictures in the castle. But we admit we haven't quite figured out how to move him into a fourth dimension. But that number, 4, that's the key to Mario's next surprise. For the last 15 years, Mr. Miyamoto has been thinking about one new way to let you play a Mario game that's never been possible before. Today, here's his answer: new Super Mario Brothers for Wii. To explain and demonstrate, please welcome Bill Trinan from our Treehouse group. Bill?
Thank you, Cami. Now, as Cami pointed out, creating something new for a game as classic as Super Mario Brothers is hard to do. We managed to do it on Nintendo DS, and 18 million people around the globe appreciated the surprise that that game had to offer. But when our development team in Kyoto asked what they could do to make an all-new New Super Mario Brothers game for Wii, the answer wasn't just more levels, more enemies, and more items. It was also more players. So Cami, why don't you come back out and play along with some of our friends from the Treehouse? I think it's only fair that you get to play as Mario. So Nate Bildorf will be joining as Luigi, JC Rodrigo as Blue Toad, and Rich Amtower as Yellow Toad.
I'll say this game was pretty fun, from what I remember.
It's as simple as it ever was, with a few new twists added.
Yeah, I've heard it's fun. I didn't really play a lot of it.
And item boxes generally produce one item for each player in the game, but not always. And it doesn't always mean that one player is going to get an item. Now,
Yeah, I guess this would have been pretty revolutionary for the time, because I think it is one of the first co-op Mario games.
I believe so.
You can pick up and carry other players. Now, if you're cooperatively minded, you can do that to help save them from those enemies or those pits. If you have other things in mind, you might want to throw them at those enemies or those pits. Now, the other thing that you've noticed is when people
Yeah, you can be a
do
troll in
lose,
it.
they have a tendency to come back inside of a bubble. Now, again, if you're nice, you might want to let them out of the bubble so they can come back in and continue to play.
True.
But if you want to get all the coins for yourself, you don't necessarily
That's so mean.
A little bit.
The game does include many of the classic trappings: warp pipes, hidden areas, lots of coins to collect. You'll also notice that this time around, the battle for those coins is probably a little bit more fierce. Now, I'm just going to let them play for a little bit while I tell you a little bit about the structure of how this game works and the balance between single player and multiplayer. The main mode of the game you can play in single player mode. Or, if you want to, you can play it in co-op with up to 4 players. You can start in one, and you can switch to the other at any point in time. So if you happen to find
Oh, rip.
a particularly hard level, you can call your friends
Blue
over for
Toad
help.
doesn't get a power-up.
Apparently not.
There's another new item. This is the propeller
Okay,
suit.
he's bigger.
If I had
So
one
he's
of
like the
those,
same size as Mario
I'd be
now.
wearing it every day. That thing is sweet. Quick little shake of the Wii Remote will shoot you high up in the sky, and you'll slowly drift back down. Now, of course, you can do that to save yourself from one of those pits, or you can use it to help yourself find new levels. Uh-oh. Looks like Blue Toad had a little trouble there. I wonder if anybody's going to... Oh, let him out. Very nice. Now, you can see that with 4 players, there's a lot going on. The screen is nice enough that it'll pan out to a much wider view when people spread out. But if the player at the lead goes a little bit too fast, you may find that if you're at the back, you get wiped off screen.
Oh.
You'll also find some nice use of hidden areas, pipes and things like that as well. And I think at this point, we're probably getting closer to the end of the game, or at least the end of this level at any rate. Yes, sliding, more propeller suits. And here we get to the end of the level. Oh, Luigi.
Ooh.
Now, as soon
Good job,
as
Luigi.
one player touches the flagpole, the others have about 3 seconds for them to grab on if they want to get any bonus points. And at the end of every level, you get a nice tally. Shows you how many coins you collected, how many enemies you stomped, tallies up all your bonus points, and gives you a ranking. So let's see how things panned out here. Well, looks like first place goes to Rich. Second place to Luigi, always the underdog. Third goes to JC as Blue Toad, and Cammy, looks like you came in 4th.
Respectable.
Well, guys, thanks for playing.
Thanks, guys.
Cammy,
I mean, a respectable 4th, yeah. I can agree with that.
Okay, this is why I make my living selling games rather than developing them. But we're happy to announce that new Super Mario Bros. For Wii can be played this week on the show floor and will launch worldwide holiday 2009. Now, we know that players will be lining up to play with and against each other in Mr. Miyamoto's newest masterpiece. Now, while Mario may be a big draw, even he wasn't big enough to attract all consumers to our category. In fact, there are millions of people who never stepped up to gaming until they stepped on to this. In the 13 months since it launched, Wii Fit has been the best-selling video game in America and around the world. Some analysts have stopped looking at the Wii balance board as a simple accessory and started considering it as a separate gaming platform. That's because...
Okay, maybe that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but
I'd
you
say-
know.
I'd say at least a little bit of an exaggeration, yeah.
In terms of worldwide installed base.
Like, it's a cool peripheral,
fact,
but I feel like
tens
unless you're
of
doing
millions
particular
around the
games, it's
world
very hard
are
to build
enjoying Wii Fit.
a variety of
But as we
gameplay
all
experiences
know,
around it.
Sticking with any exercise doesn't always happen. So, we began looking at ways to make Wii Fit easier to apply to your daily life, more beneficial, and even more attractive for every member of the household. We'd like to introduce you to the result, Wii Fit Plus. Now, the original game...
I do vaguely remember Wii Fit Plus. I never played it.
This next version moves
Yeah,
in
like
an
I've heard of
added
it, but I don't
direction,
really know what the difference is.
helping find a specific workout routine that's exactly right for you. Now, from the main menu, you can now enter the locker room, where you'll become, in effect, your own personal trainer. There are 6 new strength and yoga activities included in Wii Fit Plus, but the key is how you mix and match individual elements. You can combine them in any order that you want, and you can even repeat the ones that you find particularly helpful. You can omit all the current interludes between exercises so that your routine can move continuously, 20, 30, even 40 minutes at a time. This customization can also work on particular needs. If you want to target a specific body area for strengthening or for toning or for conditioning, there are programs to help reach all of those goals. Now, Wii Fit Plus will even keep track of the total calories that you burn. Now, at the same time, this can't be entirely about fitness. What makes it Nintendo is that it's also a lot of fun. There are 15.
I mean, true. I do find
galaxies.
Nintendo games generally
Behind
fun.
me, you can see some of them. Juggling,
Yeah.
skateboarding, and one called Perfect 10, where you need to swing your hips in different directions to choose number combinations that total 10. Maybe you can think of this as brain age for your backside. Now let me highlight just one more, where you will be leaping from platform to platform, swinging, dodging cannonballs, and jumping over rolling timber. Now,
I mean,
Jack's
seems all right.
moves are reminiscent of someone you've known forever. But this is the first time you'll be able to understand what it's really like to run a mile in Mario's shoes.
Having a bit of an issue, huh?
And Wii Fit Plus, with the new
Apparently.
personalization
That's
options,
interesting.
will
Now, I
allow
don't know
you
if this
to
would have
bundle
been
with the Wii
on the
Balance.
live recording, or I assume
The
so.
software
Yeah, because this
will
is
also
from
be
IGN.
available as a standalone purchase
Weird.
for those who already have the
I
Wii
mean, you gotta have at
Balance
least
board.
one technical
This
issue
evolution
during
of the
E3,
Wii
it
Fit
seems.
phenomenon should keep
I mean, it's not
Wii
E3 if you
itself
don't.
right where it's always
Exactly.
been, top of mind.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Reggie Fils-Aimé.
Woo!
Wii continues to attack the games market like no system before. The march is advancing on multiple fronts. Innovative software, both from Nintendo and third parties. An easy-to-use philosophy that has pushed adoption beyond mainstream gaming and right into the middle of mainstream culture. And the battle plan has been communicated virally, boosted by word-of-mouth recommendation and hands-on testing. But the primary weapon for all of this is interface. First, there was a thing that looked like an odd TV remote. Then all of a sudden, you realized it was controlling the action in an entirely new way. Then the nunchuck, which kept the joystick in play. And most recently, a new platform that has moved the gaming ground under our feet and opened up another separate path for game control for millions of new players. Today, we want to fully explain the next advance in game control, one that takes us from this to this. Now,
yes.
obviously, I can't use the old
The Wii Motion
marketing
Plus.
line. You can see the
Yeah.
difference. Because just looking, you almost don't notice that little extender. Most people won't see the difference until they hit the power button. Then what emerges is a new sense of realism in gameplay. Not the kind that makes a game look more real, but one that makes it feel and play more real. For a couple decades, players only used their fingers to control game action. Today, they're off the couch. In fact, over the last few years, physical reality has become the new proving ground for game innovation. Now, Wii Motion Plus introduces an unprecedented level of physical reality by adding precision control. Take a look.
See, I never actually, I think I said this last year when they announced it, but I never actually got to use Wii Motion Plus. So I don't quite know how it feels. Did you?
Well, the Wii remotes that I have it built in because it was a later version of the Wii. I did play on a friend's Wii way back when, like with the original and with the Wii Motion Plus. And like, I can't really remember there being a huge difference. Aside from the fact that like, when you're playing stuff like Wii Sports Tennis, you can't wiggle the controller back and forth as much to like just constantly swing the racket. I think you had to do wider motions. So like, overall I think it was more accurate, but I didn't get to play with it enough to really get an opinion on it. But I know it does make certain games just function. I think there are at least some games that won't work properly on regular Wii remotes.
Man, so real.
I know, right? It's like I'm actually there.
Wii Motion Plus.
Well, that's how it works on video. But on video, you can do almost anything. So to give you a real-time feel for this next dimension in physical reality, please welcome back Bill Trinan.
Woo!
At last year's E3, we gave you only a taste of Wii Sports Resort. From the video, you got an
Yeah,
idea
and it was
of
pretty
the
okay.
activities. Now I'd like
Yeah.
to show you more of the precision and depth Wii Motion Plus adds to Wii Sports Resort. Now Wii Motion Plus detects the position of your Wii remote, detects the angle you hold it at. It knows all that there is to know about how and where you are holding your controller and applies it to the game. Combined, the Wii Remote and Wii Motion Plus offer precision in motion. So let's see how that precision can be applied to gameplay. I'll start by showing you how you and everyone else who plays the game will also start by jumping out of an airplane. With Wii Motion Plus, my Wii Remote is my me in skydiving, the first activity that you'll encounter in the game. Now you can see, I can spin him around, I can turn and twist, I can position my me to grab other me skydivers, and if I want to, oh, hello everybody, I can dive straight down to speed up my descent, or I can flatten out to grab a few more of my friends. Let's see how many I can get here. Oh, there's another
See,
one.
like, this seems fun, you know?
And one
It
more.
does. Honestly, I was just thinking this is even is a very impressive demo, like real-time demo.
Yeah.
It's a good way to
as you can
show
see, it's a
exactly
lot of
what the
fun.
difference is.
Now this is just the beginning of the game, so we'll have a little fun falling in formation. Go upside down, probably not too safe. Want to make
Nice.
a safe landing. Try to get us right in position.
There you go. Whoosh.
The chute's open. Welcome to Wii Sports Resort. From this fun and simple introduction, every single player will immediately understand how to use Wii Motion Plus and how it is different from the standard Wii Remote. And that's before you even set foot on the island. Next up, I'd like to take you through archery. It's a sport that controls just like it would in real life, but just like real life, one that requires a great deal of skill. To play, you hold the Wii Remote vertically in your left hand if you're right-handed, or vice versa if you're left-handed, just like you would hold a real bow. Press the A button with your thumb to grip the bow.
See, like, this seems pretty cool, too, right?
Hold down the Z button on the nunchuck.
It does.
Draw back your bowstring. And you can see how every pan left to right, up and down, is accurately reflected on screen.
Ooh.
Oh, come on, I can do better than that.
Not too great. You gotta at least get in the inner
You also
circle, my
notice
dude.
There's a wind gauge in the top right-hand corner.
It's okay,
I'm having
one more
to
shot.
compensate here for distance, for wind, and other factors like a moving target.
Ooh.
Oh,
Ooh, even worse, man. Ah.
good shot.
Pain.
All right, we'll try this once more. Actually, we're going to try a second
Come on,
target
Bill.
after this. You also notice that as I draw back the bowstring,
The
my vision zooms in.
I mean, better.
Yeah,
And the longer that I hold the
it's
bowstring
just
back,
blue on the top.
the smaller my area of focus becomes. So there is some timing element to it as well. So we're going to go through 3 more shots here. You get 3 shots.
Come on, you gotta
per
hit at least
target.
one of the
Notice that,
bullseyes.
to compensate for distance, I'm going to have to arch my shot just a little bit. Just
Oh,
like
that was
I
good.
mean, that was
real
better.
low.
Got 7. I'll call that an inner ring.
And as you can see,
Yeah, I think the
it's
red would
not
be in a
about
ring.
learning the controls.
Gonna turn it a little bit over.
It's about doing what comes naturally. And from that point on, it's all dependent on your own skills, which is precisely the kind of challenge
But
that
what if I'm not
longtime
skilled?
gamers strive for.
Oh, you would be after a bit. Oh.
I mean, yeah.
Miss.
Not a good shot. Well, I've got one more sport to show you today, but of course it wouldn't be very sporting without a little competition. So, since I'm a glutton for punishment, I figure why not invite Reggie back out on stage for a little 3-point contest. Reggie?
I hope you shoot baskets better than you shoot arrows.
I know. Can Reggie win? I believe he did win the previous time he had to do something like this. Well, no, it was a draw. Kind of. There's one of those you decide kind of things.
Yeah.
And for the meme, I'm going to say Reggie lost.
Now,
Oh.
the beautiful thing about basketball is that once again, the controls are simple.
Now, will he win?
You simply hold the Wii remote, you aim, and you shoot the ball at the hoop. You know where that is, right?
Yes, I do.
And then all you need, some good aim, a little flick of the wrist, both for style and for accuracy. But of course, I hear that you know all of this because you're hitting the court like 3-4 times a week.
No, I tell Mr. Iwata every waking moment I'm working.
I think he's going to find out the truth today. Well, you know, my problem is I haven't played basketball since I was in middle school, so I'm going to have to channel a much younger version of myself to beat you. You think you can handle a 4'9" 8th grader?
4 foot 9 inches? Is that how tall you were then or how tall you are now?
Ooh.
Brutal.
Ooh.
You ready to go, big man?
I'm ready
That's
to go.
it. All right, count of 3. 1,
Now who's going to win? Megan, you betting on Reggie this time again?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go for Bill. I don't know. I feel like I like the meme that Reggie doesn't ever win these.
and then shoot. Some people find
He's
that the
doing
full
good.
motion from the tip of your toes to the flick of the wrist really helps.
Oh, Reggie's wavering. He's wavering.
Oh, I missed the last shot. I'm at 4. How are you?
Now I'm at 4.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
Oh. Oh, man. This is a bad
Man.
back for me.
Oh, there you go.
I was throwing up some bricks.
Now,
Oh.
the nice thing is that once you find your rhythm, you can kind of keep it going, just like a real 3-point contest.
I don't know, Megan. I don't think Reggie has this. Unless.
Yeah.
Oh, missed the money
Yeah, he did
ball.
get that
That's
one.
2 points. Dang it.
Yeah, not gonna lie, he's kind of sucking right now.
I mean, he's catching up.
Now I'm feeling it.
Oh.
How's that, Reggie? Oh.
14.
Maybe he does spend too much time working. He needs
Maybe.
to practice his Wii ball.
Right here.
Oh, it's going to be close. It's a close game.
Oh. Oh.
Oh, Reggie won.
Ah!
He did it right at the end. Wow.
Oh. The money
Good job,
ball.
Reggie.
The money
You broke
ball.
the streak. You broke the streak.
Wow.
Woo!
Nice shooting, Tex. I better get off stage before I get embarrassed anymore.
Thanks, Bill. Wii Sports Resort brings a new level of physical reality to a world that is distinctly Nintendo and launches here in the Americas on July 26th. But others are putting Wii Motion Plus to work even sooner. For example, Electronic Arts has announced Tiger Woods' PGA Tour 10 will not only employ Wii Motion Plus technology, but the game and the accessory will be sold together.
You know, I used to enjoy a decent amount of golfing games back in yonder days.
Will also incorporate Wii Motion Plus technology.
Yeah, golfing games can be fun. I didn't play a ton of them.
For the first time, Sega's Virtua Tennis will be served up for a Nintendo home platform, also featuring Wii Motion Plus Precision.
You imagine how awkward it would be if it got delayed to 2010?
That'd be very awkward.
It's like, oh, it's Virtuous Tennis 2009. Came out February 2010.
Will be faithfully reflected in the game. This new dimension in physical reality will have you muttering all the same bad words you do in real life. All 3 games will be available in a matter of weeks. And for Ubisoft's Red Steel franchise, the commitment to Wii Motion Plus is absolute. Red Steel 2 will be playable only with Wii Motion Plus control.
See, I don't know how well Red Steel 2 did.
Yeah, I don't know much about Red Steel 2. I heard the first one was kind of mediocre. I assume the second one might be a little bit better, but I've never heard anyone talk about it.
Than any other platform.
And yeah, probably true for that.
Yeah.
Trend, one that incorporates every game genre, will only grow this year. For example, let's focus for a minute on just one game category, the RPG. If Wii Motion Plus is all about physical reality, RPGs are mainly about what goes on inside your head. The story, the strategy, the quests, and the combat. RPGs allow developers to vary their approach. For Square Enix, this means an exclusive open-world adventure built specifically for Wii, introducing a highly interactive environment for the Final Fantasy franchise.
I do not have time to play with you.
Oh, don't say that, Goldenrod.
Oh, is this the Crystal Bearers?
This is a crystal
Oh, maybe.
idol.
Crystal Bearers? I don't think I've heard of Crystal Bearers.
So what if I am?
We've seen it at a local video game store a couple times.
Have we?
Yeah,
okay.
I've shown it to you.
Huh.
I don't know if it's good, mind you, but I just remember seeing it for like $20, and I'm like, hey, Matt, we should get this sometime.
What happened just now?
Honestly,
it
just
good?
looking at the gameplay, it does look very gimmicky.
It does. It does.
But yeah, I have no idea if it's good or bad.
Huh. Alright, that's interesting.
And Square is also bringing a classic RPG franchise to Nintendo DS. An exclusive version of Kingdom Hearts will be available on September 29th.
Oh.
And the look and feel are incredible.
This must be recoded, I think.
I want.
Oh no, this is 358 over 2 days.
Gotta hate the naming schemes for Kingdom Hearts. Just say
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and include, like, maybe the number in the spin-off. I don't know.
So, do you hate me for taking your friend away from
I mean, I don't think they're all bad. This one's definitely the worst. Like, it has story ramifications, but, like, they could have come up with a better name. It's just confusing.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I enjoy Kingdom Hearts for what it is, right?
Yeah.
Perfectly fine game. Series. But
Who do you see?
too complicated to play it. You know?
It is, especially because they kept jumping platforms too, right? Like, now it's not too bad. You could play almost all of them on PS4, or at least get the story recap for a lot of them.
Yeah. Like, the only reason I don't think I ever stuck with Kingdom Hearts, because, like, I did play the first one. I didn't finish it, mind you, but I did play it enough, and I saw the ending. I played 2.
Yeah.
But I think the only reason I stopped is because I'm like, there are other games on, like, the DS, and they're all, like, necessary.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't really want to, like, do that. And I don't know what order they are in, so I'm just not going to play them. And then I didn't. Yo, the Rolling Toad! I love that
Bowser's
guy.
Inside Story is a total classic. I haven't played a ton of it, but it was a lot of fun. I think it's considered one of the better Mario RPG games, if I'm not mistaken.
I never played it, but I heard it's really good.
Yeah.
I just remember Rolling Toad in particular because I saw a clip of someone I used to watch on YouTube fairly regularly. I don't know if he still makes YouTube videos, if he switched to streaming, or like what the deal is, but I remember he had an alert notification that was John Cena's entrance theme music, right?
Oh, okay.
And I remember seeing a clip that I think was titled like, I don't know, best timed thing ever, or something like that. I don't quite remember. But the music literally hit right as the big rolling toad like came on screen. And it's like, oh my god, that's actually so perfect.
That's pretty funny, actually.
Maybe I'll see if I can find it.
Fans in the West have
Yeah,
waited
if you
long
could, I'd
enough
love to see
take
it.
their turn at this action, but they don't have to wait much longer. Mario and Luigi, Bowser's Inside Story will be available at retail both in North America and Europe this fall. And before we leave the RPG category, there's one more piece of important news. A legendary RPG name is on its way back to Nintendo Portables, a franchise that's been gone for quite a while. After going dark 6 years ago, 2010 will bring a new dawn with Golden Sun DS.
Ooh, Golden Sun.
I really do want to play these games.
Me too, me too. They've been on the list for far too long.
Yeah, and honestly, I really should start them sometime, because they do have the first one on the Switch Online stuff now.
Yeah, they do. Which would make it a whole lot easier.
Yeah. I know people really like this franchise. I don't know what people think specifically of this one, because I'm not too familiar with the DS versions of the game, but I have heard the first one in particular is considered a classic.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if he'll ever get like a reboot or a sequel at this point, though. It's been a long time.
Remains the world's most lucrative target for game creation. Coupling
Man, I don't know. I kind of feel like...
100 million units.
Man, she's much quieter. I kind of feel like old school RPGs just kind of... Like, I mean, there's still a market for them, but I feel like a lot of the classic companies like Square have kind of moved away from, you know, like classic RPGs. You know what I mean? And have moved on to more of a focus on action RPG, which is fine, even if I do kind of miss and have been in the mood to play a classic RPG.
Yeah, it does make me a little sad, because I do like turn-based RPGs. It's one of the reasons why I like Persona so much.
Reads and plays like an interactive novel, and will help usher both casual gamers and passionate readers into the wider universe of video games.
Why join a book club when you can join the Women's Murder Club? This October, James Patterson, author of 40 New York Times bestsellers, brings an all-new mystery to your Nintendo DS and DSi. Women's Murder Club, Games of Power.
See, I've heard of Women's Murder Club. Like the book, I think. I think it's a book.
Or Dr. Claire Washburn.
I mean, I can appreciate that they're trying to do something different with this.
Analyze scientific evidence. Interrogate suspects to reveal secret motives. This is James Patterson's suspense at its very best. And it's up to you to catch the killer. Women's Murder Club. Games of Passion.
Games of Passion.
Now, while Women's Murder Club might appeal first to relatively new gamers, there's also new intellectual property from Ubisoft that goes the other direction. A new Nintendo DS adventure, Cop the Recruit, will have an immediate attraction for fans of grittier, more urban, open-world gaming. We'd like to introduce you to a young New York cop, forced undercover to unravel the conspiracy that's framed his partner.
Okay, I can't say I've heard of this one before.
Dan Miles, underground street racer, unstoppable, or so I thought.
Yo, is that John Wick?
Two choices.
It looks a little bit like it. You gotta admit, it looked a tiny bit like him.
Yeah.
My first undercover mission, take down a terrorist leader bent on wiping out New York City.
Okay, not gonna lie, I feel like if they kept the comic book aesthetic even for like the gameplay, it would probably look a lot better. But like looking at it now, it just looks really dated, like it's an old PS1 game.
Yeah, it does.
And like I know the DS was really particular about hardware. It wasn't a very good piece of hardware for anything above a certain resolution, but it honestly just looks kind of bad.
Also, I forgot to mention, the Crystal Bearers, it was apparently received quite well.
Oh yeah?
Game, Girls Mode.
Well, maybe next time we go to a local video game store, maybe I should pick it up.
Yeah.
And we expect it will further expand female gameplay for preteens and 20.
Oh, this is Imagine Designer?
Okay, I'm gonna pause for a sec here, only because I looked up Cop the Recruit, right? Because I wanted to see like how well it did. Apparently the game was originally registered under numerous names, one of which being Driver the Recruit, which, considering the gameplay, actually made a lot of sense, or makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so maybe they were gonna make it part of the Driver series, but then they got to a certain point in development where they're like, okay, this is maybe a little too different from Driver, let's not attach the name to it, and because we don't have confidence in this.
I mean, probably, and then they released the other Driver games. Ooh. At least I think those ones. Yeah, because fucking you had Driver like 4 or something, right? Like later. And isn't that the one where you can like switch bodies, like with people? It's weird.
Oh, you talking about Driver San Francisco?
Maybe. When did that one come out? Because if it's after this, and they're like, oh, we don't want to attach a Driver series, this prestigious title to Cop the Recruit, and then they pulled Driver San Francisco. I mean, you know.
Yeah, like I want to say it was around like 2011 or 2012. It was pretty late into the PS3 generation.
Dude rip.
Yeah.
Anyway,
as far as I know, that's the last one.
I mean, rightfully so. Not prestigious anymore, Driver. I'm just saying. But looking it up here, I guess Cop the Recruit got mixed reviews, so not great.
Yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense, honestly.
It does. Style savvy. Okay, this is different.
Damn, you got a budget of like $720 for clothes.
That's a lot. Even if you're buying designer clothes, like, man, that's why I don't buy clothes if I don't need clothes.
Man, like,
I am the opposite of a girly girl.
Like, I'll just buy clothes for like $20, man. Give me a whole ensemble for like $40. You know?
I know my cousin was like that for quite
Not
a
ensemble,
long time. I don't know if she still is, but she'd go to like some designer shops in like West End and buy like jeans for $150 or $200. I don't know. I never got it. If the clothes is comfy, it doesn't need to be super expensive.
Yeah, right.
But I can also understand the appeal of having like a really comfortable pair of jeans or something that's expensive. Every once in a while. Or like a nice dress. But yeah, I would never shop at those stores a ton.
Nah, I'm cool with just my cheap clothes. Like, I mean, I think I am gonna start like maybe getting some other clothes, right? Like, I'll just buy some online when I feel like wearing something a bit more flashy.
Ooh.
But I wanted to look up how some of these DS games did, because I've never heard of most of them, right?
Yeah.
So I got curious. So Women's Murder Club, apparently, and I want to pause here, because not only because I want to look up Style Savvy, but I read something kind of funny here. To me, funny, anyway.
Okay.
So Women's Murder Club, the game, right, did mix to average, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I do find, because clearly it's like a visual novel kind of game, right? Which I believe at around this time, very kind of niche, right? Not as like it's not super big now, even, but I mean, you know, it's still like you can say visual novel, and more people are like, oh yeah, I played Doki Doki Literature Club, right? Like more people kind of know about, you know, like visual novels now, right?
Yeah, like I think before the last generation, it was mostly like a Japanese thing, and then it kind of slowly started to come here. It's still a very niche genre, like even the ones that I play, because I play a decent amount of them. I can't say I played a ton, but yeah, people just don't really like to read, and I mean, you might have some games that have a mix of both, or you have some games that are kind of like I would consider an exception because of the gameplay, stuff like Phoenix Wright or Ghost Trick, where they're very unique. But like, yeah, a lot of them are just like, oh hey, we're reading a book with some pictures and maybe some sounds.
Yeah, so I bring that up for a specific purpose though, because it says here on the reception for this, Game People, which I guess is a review thing, found that the game focused overly on narration and not enough on gameplay, which is why I wanted to point out that's kind of silly considering it's a visual novel. That's the whole point, is narration over gameplay. But that's kind of why I was emphasizing that it was niche, right?
Yeah.
Because that would be something that, of course, some people, if you're not familiar with a graphic novel type thing or visual novel, I mean, of course they'd be like, oh yeah, not enough gameplay, right? Now it'd be like, oh well, yeah, what were you expecting, right?
I don't know. I love the idea of a visual novel based on an author's book having too much to read.
Yeah, right. Like it is kind of silly.
Like it's just another presentation of the book. You could probably take the stuff that's in the visual novel and like match it to stuff in the book, aside from like descriptors of characters and stuff, and it probably matches pretty closely, if not the same.
Yeah,
but
right.
Like, I like. I don't know. I always found that really funny when people like focus so much on gameplay. And like I understand games are supposed to have gameplay, but not every game needs gameplay. Like sometimes you just want to have a really good story, and visual novels are really good for that. That's why I like them.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I do like my visual novels. Even if some people find some of them boring, I do enjoy them. Personally, I've always been very much like for stories, though. I've always really liked my stories in games.
Yeah, I have too. And I mean, gameplay is important, but I think story is probably a lot more important than people give it credit for in a game.
Oh yeah, for sure. Also, I did look up Style Savvy, and mixed to average. So, all right.
Nintendo DS equals diversity. It's the platform that
also, I like how they had the picture of the cop playing Style Savvy.
Yeah, right.
For everyone.
It's like they want to emphasize it's okay, it's for guys too, even macho
allows
cops.
Developers to experiment with almost anything they want. The new Nintendo DSi lets them think about delivering surprise
or that might
in ways that just
no, I guess it is a cop. I was looking at him like it might be a paramedics, but I see the walkie-talkie in his leg, and I'm pretty sure paramedics don't have that.
I'm not too sure. I can't really say.
Take a look.
I mean, either way. I guess it doesn't really matter. DSi. Now, I know there was a lot of unique content on the DSi, because there's like downloadable games, but I don't know much about the DSi itself.
Yeah, I have no clue personally. I can't really say much about the DSi. Like I've always said, I had a DS. Well, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I never really was into it, so
Yeah, that's fair.
So I don't know much about the DSi. I don't know much about that kind of stuff.
I mean, yeah, like he said, I think it just has like a slightly different camera and stuff too, and games kind of took advantage of that. I didn't actually have a DSi because the one I have, which I believe is the same one you have, is a DS Lite, which came out afterwards.
I have an original DS.
Oh, really? Because I thought the one you had in the storage room was the same as mine.
No, I'm pretty sure I have an original DS.
We predicted that it would
I don't know, I just thought the DSs were bigger.
Well, because I got mine like around the time Brain Age and Big Brain Academy came out.
Different price points, and at least initially, different audiences. So far, that's exactly what's happening. As of today, total Nintendo DSi sales in America in the 2 months since launch have surpassed 1 million units. And during that same time period, consumers have purchased another 400,000 Nintendo DS Lites. Now, the key difference between Nintendo DS Lite and Nintendo DSi is personalization. It's the way every owner can make it his or her own. Now, depending on what you download, the content you capture, and how you manipulate that content, your portable is going to feel like no one else's.
All right.
Obviously, that reflects a wider trend.
I mean, probably true.
All around us.
I mean, yeah.
People today don't just consume entertainment, they create it and then share it. Sometimes with their friends.
That's true. So I guess this is part of the era of user-generated content.
Yeah, it seems like that.
Software for Nintendo DSi that lets you create your own little animations and then broadcast them to the world.
So, this is which one?
That this simple movie maker called
I want to say
Studio.
Flipnote Studio.
Flipnote.
Will be available.
Well, Flipnote Studio, Flipnote Hatena, because now Spike would probably get pissed at me if I didn't mention something about that. Because Spike, friend of the stream, good friend of the stream, made my animated intro for this stuff. Does all my art and emotes and such. Really cool guy. So I don't know if Flipnote Studio is the same thing as Hatena. This is where I'm gonna probably get some flack if you ever watch this later. But I figure similar enough. I can probably bring it up. 'Cause Spike actually used to be very, I guess, like famous on Flipnote Hatena. Apparently.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, apparently he was quite well known. Went by Supernova, right? Which he says nowadays. He's like, oh, it was a cringy name back then. Oh, I think it's all right. But yeah, we all have our cringy names to start. What can I say?
I mean, I could see why he thinks it's cringy, yeah.
But yeah, no, he was apparently quite famous on Flipnote Hatena, and it's very cool. I always like to kind of, well, not really joke, but I always like to kind of just say like, yeah, I had like no idea that I was technically talking to someone who was famous on a platform, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I know him as like Spike from the stream. I don't know him as like Supernova, the 1 million follower person on Flipnote Hatena, right? Or however many it was. Maybe it wasn't 1 million, but it was a lot. He was one of the like top Hatena creators, I believe.
Okay.
So it's like, damn, like, that's cool. I had no idea for like the longest time. Just one day he like casually dropped it. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Right?
Just humble brag.
Well, yeah, as one should with that kind of stuff, right?
Oh yeah, nothing wrong with that. I just find it kind of funny.
Honestly, if anything, I respect it more to just go like, oh yeah, I had like 500,000 followers on this platform. Then someone who's like, I used to be pretty famous on Flipnote Hatena, right?
Yeah.
Like, I like that. Because it's like, what am I gonna say? Like, I'm gonna say like, oh, cool, right?
Upload their creation to friends.
Because I don't know, I've never really like. Well, I mean, I've talked about this on stream before. How I've never had like, a strong thing to like gush over celebrities, right?
Yeah.
Like I think I've always said, if I see a celebrity in public, which has happened like at least like once or twice or something, I'm like, oh, cool, it's that guy. And then I like kind of go on with my day, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, neat.
Well, now that's mostly up to you.
I'm sure they appreciate people like you that don't like harass them every time they try and go and live their lives.
Oh yeah, because I mean, I know I saw them, right? They're people, right? I think that's kind of part of the upbringing too. Is it's like, oh, they're just people. They're just people that more people know about, and maybe have a bit more money than like I do, but they're still just people.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of one of the things people forget about celebrities. Like, they're just people like you and me, basically.
Yeah. The only difference is more people know them, and they may have more money. I only say may, because the chances are they do. But you never know, alcohol and drugs, man, they can take a famous person down. Like, I don't know, right? I'm not saying those are the kind of people I run into. But, yeah, you never know with celebrities, right?
Yeah.
To essential game design as any title has ever come. Now, the fundamentals here are simple, but the decision-making process, inventing the very nature of the challenge, makes this experience deeply compelling. And when your micro game is completed, you can share it with other WarioWare DIY owners. Now, after all, creating content is only half the fun. For example, no matter how goofy you make your best friend look with the new Nintendo DSi camera. The real satisfaction comes when you can show that image to everyone. And that's about to get a lot easier.
Although I am noticing in these promotional pictures, they're mostly only showing the blue DSi, so I'm wondering if they only had like 2 colors at launch.
Possibly.
Now, while
Yo, Facebook, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Every day, the new
That's true.
Nintendo
Facebook
DSi,
was
with
starting to
its
get
10
big in
editing
2009. I think
lenses,
2009 or
makes it
2010 was
even
even the
more
year I
fun.
made my Facebook account.
Personalize and share your photos with some of the 200 million users on Facebook. Now, while user-generated content is hot, we don't intend to get entirely carried away with it. After all, the great majority of Nintendo DS owners will spend the majority of their time enjoying what professional developers create for them. And perhaps no Nintendo DS creation is more eagerly anticipated than the new game Mr. Iwata disclosed earlier this spring, The Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks.
Great Zelda game. A lot of fun.
Can't do it justice.
So you never played it?
After all,
only because it's on DS,
very unique.
Is believing.
Yeah.
But seemed interesting.
And so can you. On the
Yeah, it's
show
like a
floor
sequel
this
to
week.
Phantom Hourglass. I would say overall it's a better game than
Between
Phantom
new
Hourglass.
Nintendo DS
Okay.
games and new Nintendo DSi
Yeah, I will say,
opportunity, there
they
are
got a lot of
radical
mileage out of
things
Wind
going
Waker
on
Link
for
and the Wind
Nintendo
Waker
forward.
like style. You
Stop
know?
by the
They
Nintendo
did.
booth to test drive not
Like
only
I assume it's not the same Link
also
for all of them,
experiences.
but they got a lot of mileage out of the style at
Everyone's
least.
game.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure canonically it is different. I think there are characters of Phantom Hourglass that are in Wind Waker, but I don't know enough about Wind Waker to really judge that.
So we need to get you playing Wind Waker.
I mean, yeah. Help me find time for the games.
Look, we'll do our best. We'll do our best to find time for the games, I promise.
I mean, I know.
Now,
It's just hard.
please join me in welcoming the man who is leading Nintendo's efforts.
I mean, particularly, you know, once
That there is a
the
game
E3 stuff is
inside
done,
everyone.
then
Our global
then we can
president,
spend some of the
Mr.
weekends doing
Iwata.
other video games instead.
I
my
mean,
God,
yeah.
this is loud.
In between our stuff. Wow, why is that so loud?
I don't know. They really wanted you to know Iwata was in the house.
And what is a rock star?
When Nintendo first began talking about bringing millions of more people to video games, many thought that was impossible. But today, these things have come to be accepted. And as a result, the global gaming population is greatly expanded.
True,
But
true.
there are some now who believe the audience expansion movement is beginning to fade. Recently, we have been continuously conducting our own research around the world to find out what's happening. Nintendo divides the population into 3 basic groups. Those who actively play games,
Me.
those who say they will never
Yes.
play, and those who might someday.
Maybe.
Obviously, if the population of gamers is to grow further, it must come from this group of maybes. So, how many are there?
A lot.
In
I mean, he
Japan,
says
United
that,
States,
but like, is it possible to
and
convert a
6
never
countries
into a maybe?
measure the growth.
I mean, I think it could be possible, but it's just harder, right?
295
Well, it is.
million
And like, I
people
get why they'd
actively
focus on the
play
maybes.
console
I
or
just
handheld
like the
video games.
idea.
These people, of course, are big software purchasers. But at the same time, there are more than 149 million people in these territories who say they might be interested in getting involved. To put this another way, for every 2 people now playing, there's 1 more just waiting to jump into the game. Imagine the opportunity if the number of players was 50% larger than it is right now. as the data show, we still have a long way to go in expanding the gaming population. As a matter of fact, it is the ability to appeal to such new players that may decide the fate of entire platform. We have been able to erase the viewpoint that those who never played games in the past will also never play them in the future.
Mm-hmm. That's where the maybes come in.
Our next goal is to create individual titles which can actually satisfy every kind of game player, even though the range of experience and skill level within the gaming population is now much wider. This is a rather unprecedented challenge. Previously, the best games were always considered those that require the most advanced skills. However, this kind of assumption concerns me. In the world of entertainment, making it harder for newcomers to join is a dangerous strategy. Always raising the bar on the necessary skills for players means that the number of people who feel like getting started with games must necessarily decrease. But on the other hand, if we simply lower the bar, we won't satisfy highly skilled players. And I am also troubled by the imaginary wall that is built higher and higher between what is considered an experienced player and a novice, between the veterans and the newcomers. After all, every one of us was a new player at one time. No one was born an expert gamer. Maybe we began on Space Invader or Pong or Donkey Kong. These were all immensely popular, but at the same time, intuitive enough to be enjoyed by everyone.
Yeah, I'd say that's true.
Ideally, this is still possible to create products that can satisfy both advanced players and novice players simultaneously.
Yeah, it's a really interesting way to look at it. Because, yeah, I guess a lot of the early games were just kind of designed so anybody could really play. But then over time, games got a lot more complex.
That's true. They were trying to appeal to the people that were playing the games to keep them engaged.
Yeah. I never really considered that, actually.
Neither did I, but it makes a lot of sense. And, like, they kind of, at this point, switched to what people would call more handhold type of style that really hasn't gone away since.
Yeah, right.
Whether you never played games before or already consider yourself an expert at such titles, we believe these games will please you with a depth that might surprise you. In a sense, each of these could be considered everyone's game. We believe the right product can increase mutual understanding and therefore increase the social standing of all game players. But finally, I understand that this kind of solution alone might not be entirely convincing. Most of the names we talked about today are familiar even to current non-players. What has most attracted new players so far are entirely different approaches, software like Brain Age and Wii Fit. What's next? I thought I should give you at least one potential answer. So today, as a sneak peek, I'd like to show you another entirely different way of thinking about games.
I mean, I do like entirely different ways of thinking about games.
Training your brain. With Wii Fit, we suggested using balance to train your body. Today, please look for the first time at the Wii Vitality sensor.
I vaguely remember this.
Your finger, the Wii Vitality sensor.
I don't know what the point is.
Your pulse. But pulse is not just a measure.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I remember seeing this because I think I watched this conference, but I don't really remember like how many games would have necessarily used it.
once again, to visualize something which otherwise is invisible.
Yeah, so, like, if anybody doesn't know, I mean...
How nervous am I up here on stage today?
Nintendo was kind of in their...
How focused am I?
Their kind of experimental stage, in their experimental era for the set of years where they were just, like, trying various different things.
We enable you to see
Yeah.
Which is good, but then you see something like this, the Wii Vitality Sensor, and it's like, okay, but why, though? You know?
Yeah, they kind of ask themselves, can we do it rather than should we do it?
Yeah.
And like, it's a cool technology from what I understand. But at the same time, like, why? Who is gonna use this? Who is gonna buy this?
So apparently this was cancelled, I guess, which is why, like, we recognize it from this and probably heard of it, but never actually seen it.
That's interesting. I wonder if they got not so great reception from this.
Well, it says here that it wasn't mentioned in 2010. When asked why, they mentioned that they didn't feel it was the right time to show it off just yet, saying that they would at a later date. Then in 2013, it was confirmed that it was cancelled because, well, it says due to testing issues. I don't know what the testing issues would have been. Maybe it was a reception thing. Maybe game developers didn't know what to do with it. Because I don't know what I do with
stage, yeah, it's probably a reception thing with the companies they were working with, right?
Yeah, because, like, how would you even incorporate that into a game? Right? Like a scary game, maybe? But I don't know what else you'd really do with it.
Relaxation aside, the fact is,
I mean, like, off the top of my head, I guess you could have, like, some kind of precision game, maybe something similar to, like, Trauma Center where you're playing as a doctor, and, like, maybe if your heart rate goes up, it affects stuff in the game, but, like, it's very niche, and I can't imagine a lot of people would want to sit there with a thing on their finger while they play.
Yeah, right.
Facing off against Donkey Kong, this time in an adventure that players themselves can help invent. But if you think that that's all the Mario news you can handle, you might want to think again.
No, I can't handle anymore.
A second full 3D Mario title.
Hey, Mario Galaxy 2.
On a single Nintendo console.
Seems so, yeah. I never played
yeah,
Galaxy
they're both
2.
Good. Yeah, I've heard they're both good, but I've heard Galaxy 2 in particular is really good. Much better than the first one.
Yeah, like, I know Galaxy 2 is Yoshi. I think that's, like, the one thing I really know about it, because I don't think Yoshi was in Galaxy 1.
I don't believe so. But I've never played either.
Well, see, that's the thing. I partially think that just because, as you can see here, Yoshi's in, like, it was in a lot of the marketing for this one.
Yeah. And, I mean, he's even on the cover, too.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe in the first game they weren't exactly sure how to incorporate Yoshi with the mechanics of the first game, like floating through space and everything.
I think could be likely. Did you move your mic away from your mouth again?
No, I did not move it.
Okay, you're just sounding a lot quieter to me for some reason.
Okay. Well, I didn't think I changed anything.
Well, no, it's okay. It could just be me.
I mean, maybe. I mean, admittedly, the music on this trailer is a little loud, so maybe I'm just quiet in comparison?
I mean, maybe, but I'm also looking at your voice on the thing, and you're not nearly as high.
I don't know, because I'm talking at the same volume and everything.
I don't know, it's strange.
I could move it a little closer.
No, it's okay, it's fine. Like, it's probably just a me thing, it just doesn't look like it's as high. But just fine, you don't need to move it.
I mean, okay.
I just know you do move your mic sometimes. I'm like, what?
Well, I try not to do it when we're recording, like
yes.
like I said earlier, unless I see something like on Discord where it's picking up my breathing, because I don't want that on the recording.
I mean, yeah, that's fair.
But yes, I will move it if I'm like eating food or something.
What we've shown you today are the latest steps in our constant goal of bringing more kinds of game experiences to more kinds of gamers. Some of it with innovation, some of it in the form of surprise. Wii Sports Resort, New Super Mario Bros. Wii, Wii Fit Plus, Golden Sun DS, Mr. Iwata's Wii Vitality Sensor announcement, and the game creation elements on Nintendo DS. They all serve this purpose very well. But I'll be honest.
Please.
I read the blogs too. And I've been a gamer myself for a long time. I know there are still people out there listening who are saying, okay, great, but I want more. And that more is generally associated with publishers not named Nintendo. So let me offer just 3 examples of third-party titles with a little harder edge. Ones you'll be playing exclusively on Wii before year end.
Okay.
I'm intrigued.
IP from Sega that you've heard about before, and will be picking up at retail in just 3 weeks. The Conduit was built from the ground up specifically for Wii, and introduces us to the all-seeing eye.
Time to go to work.
Yeah, because we saw the Conduit, like, what, last year, I think? As well?
I'm not too sure.
I think we've seen... I don't remember if we've seen it for a couple of years, or if it's just... Because I do remember seeing the name last year, at least. I don't know if they talked about it specifically.
I mean, they might have. I do like how, in terms of gameplay, though, it looks very similar to Metroid Prime.
It does.
Capcom's Resident Evil has long been a popular choice on Nintendo platforms, and it's a top seller for Wii. It's a franchise that works both as a shooter and as an adventure. And with Resident Evil: The Dark Side Chronicles,
I did really like the Dark Side Chronicles.
Familiar characters in a new light.
I mean, hey, I played it as part of my Resident Evil series-a-thon. Because, you know, it's just really good, right? And when you take into account, like, how, like, from, like, the Umbrella Chronicles, like, holy shit, Dark Side Chronicles is so good. Because, like, you actually see the other character on screen, which is neat. Right? That, and, I believe it is actually canon to the series. Because, like, it goes through the very, like, some, like, Resident Evil 2, Code Veronica, and, what's the other one?
Outbreak?
No, it doesn't go through Outbreak.
Okay. I don't know the Resident Evil games as well as you, so I might not be able to help.
No, that's fine, that's fine. I appreciate you for trying. Maybe it's only RE2 and Code Veronica, but they have a special story that's like standalone, and that's where like the canonicity comes in. Because it's like pre-RE4. Right.
Okay. Oh, I forgot about this. My brother was trying to get me to play this game with him. It's like a rail shooter Dead Space game.
See, I heard about that. I thought I heard it wasn't that good. Was it good?
Yeah, I think that's what I heard too. But my brother was like really into Dead Space when this came out. Like, I think he even got me to watch some kind of like, I forget what it was. It was like a movie or a comic or something based on the games.
Yeah,
but
there was.
It's been a really long time.
Yeah, there was like a comic film kind of thing.
Yeah,
I remember hearing about that.
That's probably what I'm thinking of. Because I'll be honest, I don't remember anything from it. I do remember watching it. I assume if we ever do, I'll probably remember more.
So apparently this was actually considered positive. It got positive reviews, which is good. Good for Dead Space.
That is good.
I kind of feel bad for Dead Space, because I actually did hear that the remake for Dead Space that came out, although everybody loved it, didn't sell quite what they were hoping it would.
Yeah.
So it's probably a dead series now, which is unfortunate, but...
To play each of
Probably.
At the show.
Considering,
yeah,
man,
that's around about what I heard too.
They could have remade Dead Space 2. Would have been great. Fixed Dead Space 3.
Game
yeah.
Be coming from us? The answer is absolutely. And since two heads are better than one, we invited one of the most celebrated.
I don't know. I think game studios and publishers especially are asking a bit too much of the studios nowadays.
I mean, they are.
It's like, oh, it didn't sell a bajillion copies. Failure.
Well, and that's kind of the thing, is because the budgets on some of these games is so big. Like, even Sony Spider-Man 2, from what I heard, in order to just break even, they had to sell 7 million copies at retail price. Which is ridiculous, because that would be considered like an amazingly sold game way back in the day.
Yeah, right.
So we're kind of seeing that in the games industry, where they're laying off a lot of people, and we'll probably see the size of games be brought down for a while.
Probably. Fuck. Is this one? Is this other M? Is this other M?
Objections, lady?
Yes, it is other M. Okay. Yikes. 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 Biggest yikes of anything Metroid related.
Yeah, so for anyone who doesn't know, Other M is, for what I would describe as like a black sheep of the Metroid franchise. They kind of tried to incorporate Samus into more of a character, but they made her like really dark and moody, and people really weren't a big fan of that. I don't know necessarily if it has like any gameplay issues. I just know people were really upset the direction they took Samus.
Yeah. Yeah, they took Samus very kind of stoic. Like, Bounty Hunter doesn't say anything, right? Like, you get some of her thoughts in Super Metroid, I think, but that's about it.
Yeah.
But they made her very, from what I understand, I've not played Other M. They've made her have like, from what I'm trying to think, from what I remember, it was like I think she had like PTSD, right? Which isn't bad itself. That could make her a very interesting character. But apparently they just made her very like, I think, kind of like needy.
Yeah.
With like always needing to be comforted or something like that. I don't quite know. Like I say, I've not played it. It's just what I've heard. They made her very much the opposite of what people assumed Samus was as a character, right?
Yeah.
Who is supposed to be like this kind of badass, like, you know, woman, right? Like girl power kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they made her very much not like that. And I think the other thing I heard is they made a character, and well, this is the best way I've heard it described, so I'm gonna describe it like that myself. Was
Okay.
like they took a character that said like nothing in any previous game and made it so she doesn't shut up. Another M.
Yeah.
And apparently that's part of the problem as well. Because it's true, Samus doesn't really need to talk, right? And then by making see, that's the thing with characters, right? Like why you got to be careful with a silent protagonist, you know?
Yeah.
Because who knows, you could ruin the character so easily. Like, I don't think they've made Link talk yet, right?
No, because even in like Breath of the Wild, like other characters talk, but Link doesn't.
Yeah, so like keep it that way, right? Because it's after all these years, you could very easily ruin Link by having him talk, right? And I think that's something people don't really quite understand. Because even now I see people going like, "Oh, why don't they make Link talk? You know, how come they have like dialogue boxes for stuff sometimes?" Still, like, man, you know, we're like in the 2020s now, you know. But it's like you got to be really careful with a silent protagonist. I think Other M taught Nintendo especially that.
Yeah.
You take a silent protagonist, you give them a voice, now you give them a personality, right? Problem is, if you give them a personality, then the personality that the players have imprinted on that character may now be ruined, right?
Yeah, and even to like kind of expand on that a little bit too, for characters such as Samus or I think even Master Chief, like if they have a certain image of what they may look like under the suit, it's always really awkward when you show them what they actually look like and if they don't match up with their expectations.
Yeah, like I'd say that's true.
Like I don't know if that's necessarily an issue for Samus, but as far as I'm aware, I think this is the first time we've kind of seen her outside of the suit.
That is not true because we saw her outside the suit in the very first game. Because you remember when you beat the game really fast, because it has like the separate thing where it's like you beat the game, you're kind of slow, you just get Samus in the suit. You beat the game a bit faster, and she like removes her helmet, and that's how we found it was a girl to begin with, right? I believe.
Yeah.
And then you beat it super fast, then she's out of her suit in her like little not exosuit, but like in her bikini kind of thing, right?
Yeah, but
So,
isn't this like the first time we saw her in a more modern game?
I mean, I guess wasn't she in the exosuit in Brawl?
Oh, she might have
Like
been.
the zero suit. I don't know why I keep calling it exosuit.
Yeah, she might have been. Maybe I'm just misremembering because I have not played any of the Metroid games. I just thought at a certain point, like that, like revealing the character under the suit. I don't know if they've ever done that with Master Chief. He was just the other example I could really think of. But yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, fair. Like, I'm pretty sure we've seen Samus outside of the suit before. With Master Chief, we've not, but we have gotten descriptions of. Well, I think in the movie, like in the TV series, he's out of the suit, right?
Yeah.
But in the book series, we had descriptions of Master Chief. I don't think they ever show him outside the suit in the games. But I haven't played anything past 3. Well, in 3 ODST, I guess. So I can't really say beyond like that with 4 and 5. Excuse me, but yeah, you're right. Like most you've gotten out of Master Chief is like a description of him in the books, which no, it's just like a very pale guy, basically. That's basically the description that it gives. Oh, I guess we've seen him in the comic because they did release a comic.
Oh, that's true.
And yeah, he's basically just like a pale dude, I believe. But
I mean, that's fair. Well, anyways, the points were about like living up to players' expectations for a silent protagonist, and about like the character that they think they know from previous games.
Yeah. No, sorry, we got kind of sidetracked there. Because yeah, I do see what you mean with the like character in a suit. If you show them outside of the suit, then like much like with giving them a personality, it kind of ruins the mystique, right?
Yeah, it's just like a perception thing, right? Because if you have a particular image of what Samus or Master Chief even looks like, and obviously if they come out and they look completely different, like it could be a good shock factor thing, but like if someone's really invested in the character, it could be very disappointing. And I feel like Other M kind of runs into that narratively with Samus and her personality.
Oh yeah, definitely. So, yeah, just one of their biggest blunders with Metroid.
Yeah.
Cammy started out today talking about surprise. And I'm guessing even the most passionate Metroid fans found some surprise in that trailer for Metroid Other M. What I can tell you is that this historic collaboration is going to reveal a Metroid game unlike any you've experienced before.
That's true.
It will take you deeper
just not in the good way.
into Samus's story.
Yeah.
And further into the Metroid universe. Again, this is in keeping with one of the timeless missions of Nintendo, bringing you names that are so familiar, but revitalized to make them new again. At the same time, Wii Motion Plus and the Wii Vitality Sensor are new devices that can transport you to new worlds of gaming. In the end, we believe we can provide something for everyone. We believe there's a place in gaming for everyone. And we remain committed to making Nintendo everyone's game. Thank you for your attention this morning, and we look forward to seeing you on the show floor.
Thank you, Reggie. Thank you, Nintendo. So what were your thoughts on that conference? I thought it was okay. I didn't get blown away.
Yeah, I thought... Yeah, overall it had a decent selection of games. I know, in retrospect, there's quite a few of them that are considered pretty decent and pretty good. Overall, like, it wasn't as boring as last year's, but I still think overall Microsoft's was a little more interesting.
I have to agree. I think Microsoft's, for the moment, was more interesting. That one wasn't bad, but I don't know. Nothing wowed me, you know?
Yeah, there wasn't anything that, like, completely blew me out of the park or was unexpected.
I guess we'll have to see what Sony brings to the table.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm pretty sure the Move is going to be a thing, so it's probably not going to be good. I'm going to be real with you. But
I mean, I'm hopeful, just because I know there's a lot of good Sony games that came out in 2009. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so, like, it may be really good. Like, maybe you'll convince me it's really good. But yeah. No. You have anything else you want to say?
No, I think that's good. That was a pretty average Nintendo conference, and I feel like it was pretty alright.
Yeah, it was indeed pretty alright. Okay. Well, I guess that is it then. So we'll be moving on to Sony's. We'll see if Sony can wow us this year, or if it's going to be a pretty mediocre year overall. Because who knows, it might be. Maybe we're going to enter the era of mediocre E3s. But I guess for now, that is it. So thank you very much, everybody, for watching. We hope you all enjoyed. But for now, it's time to cue the outro. So Frag out, and we shall catch you guys later.
Bye.